Hello and welcome to more Dark Souls 2 with me, Oni Black Mage. Currently we just beat the Old Iron King. We're pretty much done with the Iron Keep area, but now we're going to do a quick run through and collect all treasures on the way back. Again, just doing a quick cleanup run, so this will pretty much be a lap around the entire area, collecting whatever treasures we may have missed our first time round. The first one being a lot of these that are on this platform down here, in the very first open area with the suspended platforms above the lava, one of which you can lower into the lava. And preparations are pretty simple. You want to douse yourself with the water jars up top, you want to apply flash sweat, you want to have the fire resistance quartz ring, you want to have probably a radiant life gem going on, if not stronger. As you can see, it's stemming the amount of damage I'm taking. In addition, you may, if that's not enough, you may want to apply one of those red burrs that increase your fire resistance all the more. All that, and you should be surviving just about anything, really. Honestly, most of this will just be checking out other rooms, so, you know, let's talk about something else in the meantime as we just kind of go through here. This is a good area to grind, by the way. I really highly suggest it for getting ahead in levels. In addition, if you haven't already, back in the Black Gulch, there's a key item called Soul of the Giant, and you can actually get more of those if you burn a bonfire ascetic in that area and go back and kill those giant guys. Apparently that's something that's pretty important for an upcoming quest. And I wonder if the souls of the giants are something I have to do with those trees that look like giants. Maybe you have to return souls to them or something like that. I don't know, it's all very vague. But in a way, that vagary is kind of part of the intrigue that builds this world. This is something that I think is a good open world concept. See, open world, and I think that's what I'm going to talk about today, correct and incorrect usages of open world. And I'm not claiming to be an authority or anything, but seriously, when you play an open world game, you know what's a good open world and what's not an open world game based on the quality of what's in said world. If you're in a barren wasteland of nothing to do and uninteresting landmarks and flat and boring, that in itself may be an open world, but it's really more open than it is world. You know what I'm saying? For example, this world is a good open world concept because you're not restricted in any area off the bat by anything that's by any arbitrary devices, like say story or plot or anything like that. If you want to get somewhere and it's barred off, it's probably because it's locked somewhere and you have to either talk to somebody or kill somebody and get an item for it. And that's pretty much it. And there are ways, multiple ways to get to most of these areas. Like the Door of Winter, apparently you don't have to do all the 4 primal souls. Apparently if you do over 1 million souls of grinding, then you can open it, which I believe that by the time that you're over here, and if you've been grinding in certain areas like I have, then you probably have over 1 million souls easy. That's very easy to do, actually. It's something you kind of have to do by the time you're getting up there in levels. So you can technically enter the Shrine of Winter rather early, because by that argument, because you have so many souls, your soul level is probably high enough to take on the challenge. See, that's good game design right there. It's not constricting you and forcing you to take out all the bosses. That's something that you want to do if that's a path you choose to follow. In addition, every area has something interesting to see, something interesting to do, something interesting to explore. Even though it seems like we're mostly indoors, these giant castles and cathedrals we're in, this keep right here, are huge. And there's danger at every turn, frankly. And that's what makes it interesting. There are so many... And actually, I have to take 1 point off. And this, it's not necessarily a bad point, so maybe just half a point off. You can do a better open world concept if materials weren't static. For example, every enemy in here, you know exactly what's going to be around the corner the first time through, but that's by game design. That's intended. So it's not that's not a demerit. In fact, that's kind of the point of this game, is to see a challenge and then rise to said challenge. And rising to said challenge would be significantly more difficult if said challenge kept changing every time you enter the room. So not having random encounter like that works for a challenge-focused game like this, so that's fine. So I'm not going to take a point off for that. But in other games where challenge is not an issue, or there's so little challenge at all, and you have the same boring encounters that make fighting a chore rather than a trial or fun or interesting, then you're kind of failing on that concept, and you're basically padding out the length of your game. That's bad. Lots of open world games do that. In addition, the things that you have to explore, they need to be somewhat rewarding too. That's what this game really excels on. Hidden walls, hidden areas either contain deadly traps, or they contain incredibly useful gear, and that's fine. Because if it was the other way, such as you open a door and it's just mindless, useless loot that you're never going to have, like a couple of minor life gems, or let's see, a couple of just basic little arrows, like you have to waste a Pharaoh's Lockstone on it, or you're searching hidden walls and that's the only thing that comes up is this useless minor stuff, and you're kind of like, why did I even bother? That's discouraging. It discourages open exploration. But when you're like, oh my gosh, I jumped down this hidden path and I found these two giants, and one of them has a pretty plot critical Soul of the Giant, and then they have this forgotten key that I go back to this other area I found in this kind of hard to reach door, and I open it, I get Havel's armor set, the whole thing, which is better than anything in the store right now. See, that's rewarding exploration. All that done without any need for plot, without any need for an NPC telling you, all done by pure exploration in this open world cross giant areas. That's rewarding. That's satisfying. It also makes you feel smarter for figuring it out yourself, not having a game tell you that. That's all good. One of the things that I don't find strictly necessary, because a lot of people argue, well, in an open world people get too lost, they don't know where to go next. I'm going to cite this as Exhibit A. That's not true at all. Yeah, some stuff might be slightly cryptic, but you can still figure it out if you've been paying attention and kind of think about it a little and put the clues together. For example, I have a lot of theories about what these Souls of Giants I'm collecting are for. I don't necessarily know, but I'm pretty sure it'll become apparent, because it has become apparent with other clues previously. Therefore, staying consistent, it'll do the same thing again. Again, that consistency and that persistency are strengths of this game, and that's something recognized very early. With certain other games, what they would have you do is you would have a giant mini-map, or you would have this quest marker constantly on the screen showing you the quote-unquote proper way to go at all times, so you don't get lost. Or worse, you have like a little basically line or trail or ghost or something like that you literally have to follow as they hold you by the hand and direct you exactly where you go along a preset path. That to me is just wow. And you have the audacity to call this open world. All it is just another linear game that you're just padding out how to get from point A to point B. Especially when in an open world, the world itself is part of the journey, and if you're not enjoying the journey, then your entire concept of an open world has failed. Pure and simple. If nobody cares about your world and what's in it, then why did you even bother making it an open world at all? Why not just make it an enclosed linear environment? You would have actually served the game better that way. I say this because there's so many games coming up this upcoming year for new gen, that feature open worlds. And I wonder which ones are going to commit, grave errors, sins of open worlds, and others are going to really explore the concept or perhaps take it in new, exciting, innovative ventures. For example, one one example I could think of that I was critical when I was doing it was when I was doing my Batman Arkham City trophy guide. One thing I note is that this game is a very poor concept of open world. Everything that you can't interact with anything, you can't explore much of anything, and you could argue, oh, Easter eggs, oh, blah blah blah, whatever. There's only like a handful of those. You have more fingers on your hand than you have things you can explore in that world. You can't go in there except for like once, and those are during preset story encounters. All you have is the preset story encounter. Otherwise, every thug, which is really easy to beat up and is really more of a chore to engage, it spawns the exact same way. There's nothing interesting to really do or see after you've seen everything once. There's no reason to come back to areas unless you're missing a bat equipment and you're going back explicitly for the trophy. There's no challenge, so there's no reason to engage yourself in any of these beasts of fights. Most of the time you're gliding from point A to point B, in which case, why did we bother making this an open world? Why did we not just do it like Asylum, where at least it's an interesting enclosed environment and it adds more to the atmosphere and the ambiance, than trying to pretend we're doing an open world concept when all you do is made it further and more difficult to get from point A to point B. You just basically took more time. Spreading things out doesn't make it an open world. You can call it an open world, but if you're going to go that far, it's a weak example. Period. I actually did not like Arkham City's approach on the open environment. That's why Arkham Knight, which claims that it's going to address a lot of that, because Arkham Origins claims it's going to address a lot of that, and it really didn't. And Arkham Knight says it's going to, so I'm gonna see if they can actually do something with that, because there are things you can do with any open world, much less a plot-rich environment that's practically pre-built for you like Arkham. You know? Oblivion had that problem too, and Skyrim didn't necessarily improve it. And that is, in Oblivion, there is almost nothing to explore. And if you run into a cave or an Oblivion gate, it's the same. Yeah, that's something you can do, but it becomes a chore after a while. You only do it if you want to upgrade your equipment, in which case you're going to go up there, maybe cast Chameleon, grab the stone, and get out. And that's it. You're done in like a minute. Or if there's a cave, you go in there, maybe kill some random wolves, kill some random skeletons, and you get rewarded with just some minor trash like bone dust that nobody cares about. And all that is useless. It's not rewarding your exploration. It's not rewarding your ingenuity. It's not rewarding your curiosity. People have more fun with Oblivion and Skyrim trying to break the game with patches and mods and glitching and things like that. And when people have more fun breaking your game than playing your game, I think you kind of failed in your open world concept there. Because people weren't satisfied with the sandbox you gave them. They wanted to add their own sand or dump the sand out and have fun with the box. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. You could argue that this game itself doesn't offer much replayability, and I would actually have to agree with you. Once you're done exploring everything, that's it. That's the end of the game. But that's also a well-designed point of it, too. You see, once you're done playing the game offers New Game Plus. Changes things up a bit. The enemies you thought you knew, you no longer know. And so on and so forth. Therefore, it's not the same journey. It's not just, we just increased the health of everything and made you weaker. No cheap shots like that. Enemies start whipping out some crazy new attacks and abilities and start mixing things up. That's what makes things really good. Alright, I'm gonna fast forward to when I collect this gem, because this thing's on a perilous walkway that I just walked right over. Okay, and I'm back. Alright, so just picking that up. Have to give yourself a little runway before you die. There we go. Perfect. Well, that'll be good for grinding, which I plan on doing in this area. Alright, so I'm going to actually go over to the Belfry Sol, which is the next area, and explore that area very quickly, because I don't want phantoms to invade me. So I'm just going to teleport over there, and we'll pick it up. Okay, we are here on the Belfry Sol exploring this for the first time. Let's see, continuing my open world discussion. One of the design thoughts of open world that some people seem to think is necessary is I have an open world, therefore I have infinite amounts of gameplay options. You know, that's really not true. That's infinite amount of adventure only really happens if you have, you know, randomly generated, procedural generated content where something's new or interesting or rewarding. Some people try to pad that out with, you know, things that are like RPG staples like drop rates or things like that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have infinite amount of gameplay. It just means that it's taking longer to get everything in that game. So, one person, when they were designing Assassin's Creed 4, which by the way I thought did do a good job on their open world in terms of the open sea, he had a good design philosophy that I 100% agree with. When you're doing an open world, the player needs to see something interesting and interactive every 30 seconds. And that to me is good. It can't just be interactive, and it can't just be something interesting, and it needs to be both. It needs to be something I not only look at, but something I can touch, feel, explore, and it has to be interesting. I like how he said that. It has to be interesting. Oh, great. Another player. Okay, let me try to engage this guy. Alright, so he's weak against magic, which is okay. Oop, I'm getting a jump on him. I might just win this. Oh, great, a dwarf. Oh, God. I was very close with that. I actually would have won that if that dwarf didn't get in the way. I think that guy realized it too. I think that's why he's not cheering, because I think he realizes that was a tampered fight. That was not a fair fight. I was more killed by an environmental hazard. But now that I recognize this is a PvP area, we are going to do a little bit of prep work. Because I'm not going to complain about it this time. This time I'm going to go in ready. And whatever Belfry guy is over there, I'm going to be ready for him. So let's get some anti-player spells up. Let's see what I got. Flame Swath is good. That's for sure. But we're in a flame area, so who knows. Chaos Storm says it's good against frisky characters I like to roll. I wonder if that's true. Soul Spear I'm definitely keeping. Definitely keeping my better soul arrows. That's for sure. Alright, so we're gonna get great heavy soul arrows. We're gonna make sure we're loaded up with those. Definitely gonna get homing soul mass. I don't have the better version just yet, but that's definitely a must-have when it comes to PvP. Definitely getting Soul Spear. I'm gonna try Soul Vortex. Because it says that it's very difficult to evade, which isn't really true, because Soul Vortex only does massive damage if it hits just the right spot, otherwise just kind of deals passing damage. Well, I notice Lightning Spear and Greater Lightning Spear in every PvP match because of its excellent range, and most people don't necessarily have lightning resistance unless they're a cleric, so I'm going to go with that. So I'm a little bit more prepared now, and if somebody wants to mess with me, that's fine. I'm going to try to snipe, though, a lot of these dwarfs, though, and remove a lot of these field hazards. That last fight didn't go my way, and I'm 100% attributing it to that stupid dwarf, because I would have had that guy. See, if you're going to create a PvP zone, you need to frickin', you know, these hazards like this, I don't like that. I mean, if I welcome the challenge, great, but fighting 2 versus 1 is already challenging enough in this sort of world. And that's the guy who killed me last time. I want to kill you before anybody else teleports in. get this guy too. Last thing I need is a giant great sword wielder to be tampering with my stuff. Oh good, he's weak against magic. That'll make us fast. Perfect. Alright. Is anybody gonna teleport in? Alright, so looks like a little bit more simpleton spice. That's always nice. I'll just go ahead and pull this lever. Most likely it's going to ring whatever bell's going on. Yep, sure. I don't know if that unlocked any doors, though. Do I have to decapitate something? That was a weird message. Alright, so let's be a little bit careful now. After all, we have to be ready for anybody that could just teleport in. Alright, that looks like another phantom, though. And I think he's... yeah, I think he's dual-wielding crossbows. Interesting. I wonder if anybody's actually doing that sort of build. I haven't exactly seen the strongest crossbows in the game. Nice scenery, though. Alright, so let's see. We have a lot of blind spots on this roof. Anybody could teleport in. The good news is that it also seems like a good sniping perch, too. I see some guys in the courtyard down there over to the left. Let's see... yeah. Let's see if we can just take care of them from here. Oh, treasure. Yeah, more simpleton spice. I need more skeptic spice. Alright, a couple dwarves and another one of those claymore guys. I think that's like a carbon copy of what I just fought. Alright guys, come up here. Come on. At least they're not coming up on the roof. I appreciate that. Even with your shield up. Clearly not a magic shield. He just came straight at me. Didn't even bother guarding. Alright, let's go ahead and snipe these guys, make it easy for ourselves. Ah, there we go. Oh, new player, Nilo Angelo. Must be a Devil May Cry fan. Alright, so I'm gonna get Soul Mass up ready. And I'm gonna test out Soul Vortex against this guy, so come over here, guy. Come and get me. Alright, he's doing some good strafing tactics. Alright. Homing Soul Mass missed the first one. That's okay, it's a pretty quick cast spell. I'm gonna get Soul Spear up. Alright, that one missed. BAM! Ooh! Combined attack. Both my Soul Mass and my Soul Spear went off at the same time. He didn't stand a chance. That's what I'm talking about. See, now this doesn't change my mind. I still don't prefer PvP. However, when I'm ready, I'm ready. I'm not exactly a pushover. Even more simpleton spice. Ugh. But yeah, that's what's good about this area, at least. Get more treasure, get in, get out. Immolation, alright. A good example of an open world game that does a lot of things right is Legend of Zelda. Lots of hidden things. Every screen serves a purpose. There's something interesting, something overt, something to explore, something to fight, something to discover. Every single, like the original Legend of Zelda, mind you, I'm talking. Like, that was a good open world concept. Excellent. That made you want to strike every wall and search for all the hidden walls and things like that. Like, that's one thing I should be doing right now, actually, searching every wall. There could be hidden walls here, and there probably are hidden walls. And that's what makes exploration so fun, so rewarding. You never know what's around the corner. Seriously. That's why it helps to be vigilant. In fact, what was I just talking about? Could be secrets around the corner. Literally, there was one around the corner. That's what makes this game so awesome. It does dungeoneering, does open world very, very well. It doesn't have to break new ground. It doesn't have to try to be innovative. It doesn't have to be the best of the best. It just has to be good and it has to be fun. That's all we're talking about here. Black Knight Greatsword, huh? Alright, well, I think that's just about it for here. So it looks like we did our full loop. Managed to do a little bit of PvP and not handle ourselves too poorly once we were ready. So, I'm going to teleport out and come back to the next area, and I will pick you guys up next time. If you have a comment on anything I said, just leave it below. Of course, if you haven't already, please leave a like and a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.